Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are doing a replay analysis again, this time a 1v1 for Chaz++. He is currently a Diamond 1 in 1v1 and a Champ 1 in other playlists, 2s and Standard, apparently. He has discussed with me that he feels like he overcommits too much, which causes a number of his losses. And do I have any healthy strategies to keeping a balance between the two? So I'm going to start with that off the bat. Ones is about being safe, in my opinion. If you can't score with the boost that you have, you need to leave, and that's just a general rule of thumb to follow, like most of the time, especially down in like Diamond 1. I say that like I'm super high ranked. I'm only like mid champ 1 in 1v1, but I mean, I don't play it a lot. I don't know where I would end up if I played it a lot, but moving on from that, let's see if I can catch it. Playing with your camera a lot. The first thing I want to talk about is your camera settings. It's kind of like ridiculously far away and ridiculously high. 1v1 is a lot about precision, and it's very hard to be precise with camera settings that are this high up. I'm gonna layer in some of a 1v1 that I played. Right here, you're looking at it. You can see the camera is a lot closer, and I have an idea of how to be more precise about things because of the fact that I'm closer. Now, when you are closer to the car, you do have a little bit of a struggle with seeing around, which I assume is why you back your camera out so far, is you feel like it gives you an advantage in awareness. But I would say that you need to just look around with like the right stick and have closer camera settings. Basically, I mean, I don't want to trash what you got right now, but I think that you would improve drastically if you chose some other camera settings, like what you see right in front of you right here. If you tried those, or maybe something similar, I think that you'd be able to play better. Because like I said, ones is a lot about precision, and it's hard to be precise from this range. Moving into your actual gameplay though, a big thing in 1v1 obviously is kickoffs, so I'm going to be pretty critical of your kickoffs in this, so just expect that. It's not bad. You won it, which is good. You overcorrect though right at the beginning, and you head too directly at the ball. Because you head so directly at the ball, you don't hit it in the center, you hit it on the side. You want to not correct quite as much at the beginning, and then correct a lot at the end so that you can hit the ball directly in the middle, and then on a diagonal like this, flip back the direction that you came from. So in this case, it'd be a right dodge, and that would be a more effective way to win the kickoff more of the time. Obviously, this one you won pretty well though, so I can't give you too much about it. Good patience to let him just clear it out. The other thing about ones is that there's a lot of different ways to play it. It's hard to coach, in my opinion, just because there's so many different styles you can take. I would say this method of attack, touch the ball once and wait for them, you know, it's not really optimal in my opinion. I think working on ball control in general and being able to beat an opponent consistently is better than kind of like you're kind of going for some kind of mind game or something and expecting him to jump out of the way. But it all stems back to this touch right here, which I think could have been more precise and more of a catch if your camera settings had been closer and you had known the relationship between your ball, the ball that in that situation, and your car. You might have been able to catch it and flick it over him or something to that effect. I like that you're not challenging when it's pretty much an unscorable ball. That's a good thing. I have noticed I don't think you're really dodging into challenges, which I don't think is a good thing. This is a second, like, very slow attack. And one thing I find that works best is playing quickly without being linear, which is difficult to get. But I think you could have caught that and flicked it sooner, because with the way that it was, he had plenty of time to make up his mind, and he started challenging as soon, like right here, he started challenging you. So if you had already had the ball on top of your hood to where you could control it and flick it, you would be in a better position to just get this over him. And then as time goes on and you flick him and you flick him and you flick him over and over again, he'll start to go higher, and then you can work in mind games. Good pressure here on this. He kind of just passes you the ball and you see an opening and put it on net, which is always good. It just makes it awkward. It makes it difficult for them if they don't get a perfect touch, because it's ones. Personally, from this position, I went a little too far back. From this position, I'm not a big fan. You like to play with your controller a lot. I'm not a big fan of the diagonal dodge kickoff, especially at low level. I don't even do it to my level. What I do is I make a slight correction almost directly at the ball, ignore the first boost, and just barely nick the second boost. And then pick a side of the ball that you're aiming at and dodge across it when you hit it. I'm not a big fan of the diagonal dodges, because if you don't do it just perfectly, you land completely incorrectly and spin out and they score. And on top of that, it's not really that big of an advantage that you gain if you're not doing it at an incredibly effective level. Not that it was bad, I just think it could be better. And in that case, you were there almost too early. And when you do contact the ball, you hit it perfectly in the right spot, but he was so much slower than you. This is where you kind of need to pay attention to them. He was so much slower to you that you just hit it into him and he hit it over you. So you got to be careful there. He gets a free one off that. That one you were a little bit too central, in my opinion. You had it, like, in my opinion, perfectly up until the last little correction that you made. Like, you see you just started to turn right a little bit. If you hadn't done that, you'd be in the perfect spot to jump right about where you are. And then as you hit the ball, it would be a little bit on the left and dodge to the right. Get a nice strong hitbox on it and win it across. But you hit it straight in the middle, if not a little bit on the left, and then dodge left as well, which kind of pushed you out of the way of the ball and just let it go sailing past you. I like staying with the ball with no boost. It's safe. Not just passing it away. Here, you kind of gotta... Let's see. I didn't pay too much attention to how fast you played here. Throw in a flip or two there while you're trying to get that boost. Realize the urgency. This is a situation that you can get scored on very easily in. And you could have been sitting at your back post right now, but you didn't flip at all. Get in your recovery. Recovery is very important in 1v1. If you had recovered better, I think you would have been in a position where you could have saved that ball. That was a better kickoff because you won it. That was an almost perfect play, but again, I like the way that I said earlier in this video better personally. This guy is very slow on his kickoffs, so it almost doesn't matter what you do. You're gonna win, but as you get into higher level, it's gonna be a problem. This defensive position, in my opinion, is not very good against someone who knows what they're doing. I would personally prefer to be shadowing, facing your net on a slight angle, sitting basically on that boost pad in front of you, and then you would be in a position to cover. You'd have multiple points of contact across the shot instead of just one. Whereas here, you have to get it right here, or you can't get to it. You know what I mean? Good to get it over him there. I'm not sure why he would challenge there, but good to punish him for it. A little bit too much correction again. It's not really an issue you're going to notice quite so much in lower level, but once you get a little bit higher, you'll lose a kickoff like that directly into your net. This aerial, when you jump, are not facing the ball, and I think that plays a big part into it. On top of your camera settings, I would have probably missed this ball with your camera settings. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's just difficult to understand what's going on from that distance away from what's happening. So again, back to the camera settings, I would suggest you change them. In your recovery here, forget the corner boost. Yeah, you missed that one, and that's unfortunate. But this path of boosts just to your right here that kind of arcs in toward the goal would have been enough for you to make an easy stop on this, because he had no boost. If you had cut in and taken those boost pads that he is near right now, you would have been able to dodge across and clear that ball off to the side, instead of what just happened here where you got scored on. I like it. You're a very, very patient player, which is a good thing to have to an extent. You don't want to be overly patient, but you are good at being patient when you need to be. There, just be mindful of the opportunity of fake kickoffs. You don't really see fakes on straights anymore. I'm surprised that that happened. One thing that I would recommend is going into your settings and raising the size of your enemy nameplates. In here under interface, change your nameplate scale, make it bigger, and change it to always visible. This personally helps me to keep better track of where players are at all times. And I think that might have helped you to spot out the fact that he wasn't getting any closer. A lot of people on kickoffs tunnel vision the ball because it's important that you hit it properly, but you got to be able to balance looking back and forth at both and track. And that's why really you want to get your kickoff to a point that it's completely muscle memory and you can just watch the opponent instead of the ball. Not a bad way to deal with that. Again, though, really slow in your offensive attack here. I'm not sure how comfortable of an aerial player you are, but that wall is wide open. You kind of seem almost afraid to hit the ball hard. And I would say one of the biggest things that you can do to improve as a player is to hit the ball hard. So I would recommend working on that personally. Good patience. Unfortunately, you got tagged with a bump there, but the second challenge worked out. And then the read off the wall. If you just flicker your ball cam off there for a second, you would see that he is not going to be able to do anything with it if you were to hit it. And you might have had a better idea of where it was even. If you flicker your ball cam to check the ball circle and then flicker back to ball cam on, I think you might have had a better chance of hitting this, but that is kind of just reading and practice and time. That's a very wide line with no boost. I like that you're trying to keep momentum, but I think it's almost to the point that you were trying to sneak to that corner boost and you just left the net like completely wide open. what I would do in this scenario is take the arc of boost pads that heads back to goal right there. And I mean, you have 36, then you add 36 to that, and you have plenty of boost to deal with whatever this guy might do. And you're in a better position to deal with it. Unfortunate kickoff there. You see exactly why that happened. He is a year too late to that kickoff. So in that position, when you've noticed that they're constantly there late, I would personally do my straight on kickoff that I was talking about, but get a little bit wider of the ball and hit it completely to the side, like completely out of where they'll hit it, and get it past them and steal their corner boost and then loop back around to it. It being the ball in that scenario. Sorry if that was complicated. That was a better kickoff. Well won. You won the little standoff for boost too, so. Good attempt there for the flick, I think is what you were going for. And that's not a bad choice to try to get a touch on that. Unfortunately, just didn't. And also this defensive position that you choose is very good as well. This is a good shadow position right here, and this gives you the opportunity for a save to be easier. So I like this position a lot. I would personally like to I would like to see you let that ball come across you a little bit more so that you can dodge into it with your nose and clear it into the corner hard, because the way that he just came at you, his body language shows that he doesn't have any boost. So if you hit that ball really hard with a front flip, that'll propel you toward the corner. The ball will bounce off the corner and you'll be closer to the corner boost, and you can steal that corner boost from him who has low to no boost and just drive this into his net. But because your touch went up, it gave him the boost advantage. Here on the wall, I don't know how comfortable you are in the air, again, like I said. But if he's giving you that much space, you kind of do, in the politest way possible, you kind of do the worst thing you could. Either A, you need to like jump off the wall and take this into an air dribble or a double touch or something, which I'm not sure if you're capable of doing or not. Or don't touch it at all and try to just meet it down at the ground and catch it, because when you hit it away like that little touch right there, you make it more difficult for yourself to get to it the same time as him, because you have to drive down the wall. And then when you do get there, you get in a position like this. You did good to block it, but if you had just gone straight for the ball, this would have pinched directly into your net, most likely. And this first fake challenge, I would disagree with. I like the idea to fake challenge, but in this position, I don't like it, because even if he does something with it, he'll beat you, and you have made no attempt to actually stop him doing that. I think it's easier for you to win a 50 into the wall right here and just go for the challenge itself and win a 50 into the wall, and then take the boost and loop around to it. And then here you kind of hesitate a little bit on the way to this ball, when really, I mean, he might be faking it, yeah, but there is a line you can take that will get you either scenario, and hesitating is definitely not optimal in that situation. It was good to clear it off the wall. You're just whenever you do anything, I kind of get this vibe from you that you kind of sit there for a little bit and think about what you should do next and then do it. And you kind of just sit in one place for a little while. And you want to get to a place where you're making those decisions faster, recovering faster, moving faster. Speed of play is really big, it's, even in ones where people don't really think it is. Like, the opportunity to grab boost here is there. Like, you do good to not go for it yet, but then when he skies this, it should be straight to your boost because there's nothing he can do. He's turning away from it right now. He's turning away from the ball and the boost. It's 100% yours. But you let him get to a place where he can now catch it. Where if you go immediately as that bad touch happens, either go for the boost or go and hit the ball. One of those two things needs to happen. A little bit better line there would get you the boost. I'm sure you know that. Just be mindful. Unfortunate that he missed the ball and got rewarded for it. But in this position, see it again. I do believe there was an option there to hit the ball that would block a shot and a miss. Just going for the ball directly there. When it's like on your line like that, you kind of have to. Otherwise, you know, what just happened happens. That touch, I would recommend you make it softer than that. Something more like a catch, which you might have been going for and you just slightly misread it. And as a result had to jump to get some touch so that he couldn't score. But yeah, I would recommend trying to play that softer and more into the corner than the side. As it goes to the side, it bounces back in the middle and gives him an opportunity on a touch. Thankfully, he didn't have any boost, so. Then you had a little bit of urgency there for a second, but your main form of attack kind of seems to be get under the ball and wait. And unfortunately, in ones, you have to do something to make him miss or he's just going to challenge you. And it's going to pinch off just like that. So that's unfortunate, but also fun fact, if you flip and boost, like if you're straight front flipping, don't boost while you're doing that. But if you front flip and then boost, you flip faster than you boost full speed. That makes sense. You cover more distance faster. I might do like a torque flip tutorial for you guys just so that you could see something that might have got you back in time for that. Not a bad attempt on the dribble. You seem a little bit uncomfortable with dribbling, which is perfectly acceptable at this level. So, you know, don't worry about it too much, but definitely keep practicing. And honestly, I think dribbling and general ball control and that kind of stuff will be easier for you if you change your camera settings like I suggested. You don't obviously have to go for exactly what I use, but I would recommend something different, a little closer particularly, maybe a little lower as well. Yeah, see some general stuff. It seems like you're having a difficulty committing to an idea, which is like impacting your speed of play. You're playing slower as a result. And then aside from that, your general touches and things I feel are weaker than they could be, probably due to your camera settings. And your attack is very get under the ball and wait. So I would work on just general ball control, being comfortable in beating an opponent, like what to do to beat an opponent. You know, flicks, awkward touches, anything to beat an opponent. Yeah, this kind of has particular... This kind of brings back particular memories for me because I was a ones main for a significant portion of my Rocket League career, so I definitely know the benefits that can come out of it, and if you stick with it, you'll be a great player. I guarantee you will. And just, I think the next big thing you need to work on really is ball control and your recovery as well. You don't seem to be like in a hurry when you're recovering, but you should always be in a hurry when you're recovering. Whenever you're jumping off a wall, wave dashing onto the ground, or if you are going for an aerial, landing on the wall on your wheels with your nose facing down so you can drive straight down. If you have extra boost, boosting back down toward the ground instead of floating in the air. Little things like that that bring up your speed of play and your challenging a little bit more. And that's another thing, is like, ones is a lot like chess, so I can't tell you exactly how to play every situation. It's just a kind of like, okay, I've been rushing challenges for the first minute and a half of this game, so now I'm gonna fake for a little while, and now I'm gonna rush, and now I'm gonna fake, and then I'm gonna ball carry into flick, and then I'm gonna ball carry into fake. You know, it's a little bit more difficult to coach as a result of that, but yeah, I mean, stick with it. Keep sending me replays. I'll keep analyzing them for you. The more of them I do for you, the better an idea I'll have of what kind of stuff in this game happened that was one-off and what kind of stuff happened in this game that's a problem for you. And then I'll be able to get a little more nitty-gritty with everything. But hopefully this video was helpful for you. I definitely like the amount of traction that these replay analysis are getting on my channel. I am getting a decent amount of requests now. If any of you guys want to get your replays analyzed as well, there is an email down below for you to send them to. And there's also a link to my Discord where there is instructions of how to send them to me. So if you want to, go ahead and do that. Anyway, if you liked it, go ahead and like down below. Hit the sub button if you want to see more helpful content just like this. And I will see all of you in the next video. Peace.